my niggas are soldiers. When he coming in, never fold. I ain't mean to lose my composure. Everything I throw, they receive it. Benjamin and none of them leave it. I was taught to trust in the sleeves. That you never trust me to leave. You can leave if you need to. I need different between all the wants and the needs and the karmas I got, karmas I need. I belong on the block with my soul in the streets. There better be, there better be. And the things that they say is the things you believe. But he walk with a K and he sweep in the streets. And she thinks she know everything. She's so naive. I just wish they see what I see. I just need a green light to get 'em. I just need a green. Don't give me the green light to get 'em. I just need a green light. I just need a green light. Go get 'em. I've been in the storm like you some cold weather. I ain't finna tell him I thought he would know better. Get this shit emotional, niggas now and never. I've been overdosing, I'm hoping I forget him. I'm within the post, you gotta get on my level. If you wanna stab, you probably dance with the devil. But dance with the metal, hit it on whoever. I'm my little step. You just need a green light.
I really didn't expect to see you yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we literally pulled up for Kudos' birthday. Shout out Kudos. And like, there Crooksy is like literally mixing. I was like, bro, I was actually supposed to meet this guy tomorrow for a conversation on our page, and we just so happened to see you.
Yeah, I thought I posted it. I was like, did I post I was gonna be here? I was like, oh shit, this is dope. You pulled up. So but yeah, it was just completely a coincidence.
Yeah, no, it's dope. Is that like a residency that you have there, or? Yeah,
every Saturday night, like I'm usually there, or if I'm not there, I usually get one of my homies to cover, like usually Akeda or like Rami or something like that.
That's what's up. And that's Joey's
on Burrard. Yeah,
Burrard. Yeah, because I know there's a couple different ones, right?
There's one literally down the street, like Bento, and then Burrard.
You got a lot of different ones, yo. That's that franchise shit, yo. They on that shit. But yeah, I was like telling the guys, I was like, yo, I'm actually supposed to just be talking to this guy tomorrow, and I had still been trying to go through the list of like kind of what we wanted to talk about, because I stay seeing you like actually like whenever we're like at, you know, an event or like a party, but we actually hadn't like sat down, and I mean, we have talked, but not really like actually talked like down, like we're.
It wasn't like passing or something.
Yeah. And like I guess we were supposed to do the party, and then you ended up having to go to Toronto at the time. But yeah, like, are you at the time you had told me I think you were from the East Coast, right?
Yeah. I was born in Toronto, and then I moved to Vancouver 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I moved to Vancouver, and then I've been here ever since 2016.
Was that kind of like just like a leap of faith thing, or like what was?
It was kind of like more so like my mom wanted me to kind of get a change of scenery and like get out of the city and stuff. So I had my uncle who lived in Vancouver, and then I kind of went out here to go to school and play basketball at Capilano University, and then I stayed with my uncle, and then we kind of just figured it out from then. I didn't know anyone when I first moved here, like just my uncle. Really.
How did you like adjust?
I feel like playing sports, you kind of like develop like a team. So like from there, and then I found like a kitchen job with at Brown's in North Van. I worked there, and I met a lot of like the cooks and like servers and stuff like that. So they kind of like put you on stuff, like what's going on. So everyone kind of like was always trying to like.
Yo, talk about that kitchen cook or like the back kitchen, that culture, because I feel like Earl's and Poco too, they have that same kind of vibe where in the kitchen, like I feel like at least one person's always outside vaping first off.
Yeah, you definitely like develop a nicotine like addiction in the kitchen, I swear. Like, yeah, it's crazy, but like I don't know, it's like I love working in the kitchen, but like when it gets hectic, you just don't want to be in there.
Yeah,
like, that's just facts. It's fun until it's not fun, basically.
Yeah. And like you meet so many different types of people that like are on different paths too.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of so like random, but everyone meets at like the similar spot, which is like cooking, which kind of trip. But yeah, you definitely meet hella characters for sure.
Yeah, I knew like gamers, musicians, like people that were just doing different things.
Yeah.
But like, obviously had to work at some point. So they were like, I had met them at that point in life, like whether it be working in like a fast food place or like seeing them, like my friends working in like a kitchen or whatever it might be. But yeah, it's interesting. Like you meet so many different people, I guess. And because everybody's on some different shit, like you just get put on in different ways.
Yeah, literally.
But I guess, I don't know. I guess it goes with anything else though.
Yeah, facts. No, I agree. I worked there for like 8 months. And then after I was working in the kitchen, I started to DJ like on the other side, so it's kind of crazy.
In the kitchen or?
Nah, imagine, that would be crazy.
Guys mix it in the kitchen, that's crazy.
Nah, that would be lit. But I just started DJing at the restaurant, and that was like my first like actual kind of gig in BC.
Well, like what got you into, like, do you have like a musical background at all? You said you played sports, but like besides, like, did you play an instrument or anything like that?
I played a bunch of instruments when I was like grade 9 and lower, like.
Oh, okay, yeah, like elementary,
so like
middle school.
Yeah, so like grade 4 started playing instruments, so like grade 9.
Which ones in particular? Because I played the trombone.
Yeah,
I did percussion as well.
Trombone's tough.
Yo, that shit, like, because there's no honestly, the trombone's something you just have to know or you don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
You're measuring where the slider is along the thing. There's saliva running through that, but it's the price you gotta pay.
Yeah.
But I did that, percussion as well, like the drums or whatever it might have been, the cymbals, all that stuff. But
yeah, that's what I wanted to do was percussion. I never got to do it, but like when you got to pick your top 3.
Yeah.
And the percussion was on my first one. 'Cause I wanted to play the drums. Like everyone wants to play the drums. Like Drumline just came out. You know,
that's what to do. Crazy on that thing.
So I wanted to do that, but I didn't get to do the drums. I'd play like trumpet.
Oh, you did trumpet.
I started with trumpet, then I went to bass clarinet, which was pretty dope. I fucked with that. And then I finished playing like alto and like tenor sax.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much the same like chords and stuff, like notes, so it's pretty easy, but just different sounds. So I kind of liked the alto, I think, the best. So
okay, so when I was because when I was in elementary school, and the way that they select to see what instrument you're gonna play, they give you the mouthpiece first. So they give you the trumpet and the trombone mouthpiece. They give you the clarinet, like the woodwind mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And they see which one that you can do, and then based off that, you pretty much make your selection. Mm-hmm. So like obviously, I didn't have like the pause this whole conversation first off. But no, I couldn't figure out the clarinet and like the woodwind shit.
Yeah.
So I like went the other way towards like the trumpet, the trombone.
Yeah.
Mouthpieces.
I feel like those ones are usually. I feel like
you gotta be careful, bro.
I feel like the trumpet and like the brass instruments, like those ones are the hardest to play. I feel like like trumpet, trombone, those are tough for sure. But yeah, we didn't have to do that. Thankfully, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
he had to do that.
So I figured, because I always think of like your musical background, like where you started off initially. Like I look back and I played like light instruments back then, but transition to when you started learning how to DJ, like how was that? Like where did the thought to wanting to go DJ, like where did that come from?
Like I always like, how did DJing more so? I feel like it was just because we started going to a lot of parties and the music was just poor. Like that was just really what it was. Like not even poor. Like okay, I shouldn't say that. It was like
tell it like it is.
Not even poor. It was just like not the right songs in the right moment. You know, you're like fuck. Like man, this party could be so lit if they just played the song right now. You know, and it kept happening over and over. And then it got to the point where like,
can you tell what year this is so I can get a vibe of the music?
It's like 2014.
Okay.
2014, 20, yeah,
Gotcha.
2014-ish, 2013, 2015, around those times. And then me and my homies, we started throwing parties. And then we just rent Airbnbs, throw parties. There's like some areas in the suburbs where I used to live, like Mississauga area, like they're developing houses.
Yeah.
And like we before like anything, before this, like just like a plane, there's no walls or anything, it's just like the structure, you know.
Yeah.
So we'd go there and we bring speakers and like tables,
traffic out the construction zone,
bro. We throw parties, like people would come, we get like maybe like 30-40 people, and then it lasts like an hour. Cops will come, you have to just you have to do what you have to do. But like we're just throwing mad parties and people are just fucking with the music all the time. And this was like virtual DJ. This wasn't even like a controller era. This was like strictly virtual DJ. And then it was just kind of going well like that. And then people started reaching out to us to throw parties for them. Like we started throwing birthday parties for like friends in our high school and stuff like that. And and I was always DJing them from virtual DJ. And then it just got to the point where we just started going from house parties to like low-key bars and like cafes, like Lakeshore area in Toronto. And those were going well. We were getting like people from like Mississauga all the way out to like 30-minute drive away. And like, you know, they're going well. We're just like, what the heck?
And people actually, that's what's up.
Yeah, they kind of just trusted us for like just bringing a vibe. Like the homies are all like plugged in, athletes, stuff like that. So it became like just like our thing. We just started throwing parties, had like a little collective, I guess you can say.
What were you guys called?
It was 9 West District at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the squad. Shout out 9 West District for sure. But and that stage was like when I slowly moved to Vancouver.
Okay.
So it was like we didn't even get to see that through like 100%, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I was kind of like one of like the main like people that are kind of curating a lot of the time, like with the homies, but like it's like when you take one piece of the puzzle, kind of like
it's hard
it's not the same
for everybody to kind of remain focused and locked in. Like
like everyone's still like clicked up, still doing their own thing, but it's like that, like at that moment it was like it was going very good, like very well, and then it kind of like faded out a bit, but it's still there. Like the presence is still there when we do events and stuff. It's always like a boom. Like they're always lit. Like other homies are doing their own events too. Like they started like little like event companies and stuff themselves. So it's kind of dope that everyone kind of like found their thing and like stuck to that, which is sick.
It sometimes too is like independent pieces of like that. I guess that puzzle. You guys all need to use that as a stepping stone, like build that almost like that brothership, like that brotherhood.
Yeah, facts.
And then to be able to go off and like do other things, like you know, whether it's building different brands or like working on different projects. This person's doing that person is doing this. That's what's up. Yeah,
that was time ago. That was like what, like 2016. Yeah, I would say.
So then you kind of make the transition over to Vancouver. You mentioned that like I guess you came here. Were you still kind of looking to dip into like the entertainment, the event space? Yeah,
because I was like rolling off it. Like we were like promoting at clubs downtown. Like we were just like grossing. We're doing very well. So I was just like, I have to kind of keep this going. Like it was something that I was just like naturally good at doing. So when I came to Van, I was just like, holy, this is so different. Like, I don't know what's going on here at all. Yeah. So it took time to kind of like understand like how the city was, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Like
it's completely different. Like
especially to play music like somewhere here, you need to know kind of what people like, what the vibe is. Like, I guess there are people that will maybe come from like different places in the States and like know that their city is like popping shit like hot grease, like it's hot, but they think that when they come to a different place, they're like, and they are carrying that same like, you know, heat with them or whatever you want to call it, but at the same time the people there might not appreciate it the same way. So it's almost like you have to understand what that area is kind of vibing with, and then maybe try to like curve it or add your vibe to it, or
Vancouver's a tough crowd too. It's a tough crowd for sure. I feel like a lot of people do come here and they kind of do struggle with the crowd at the time, unless they're like a superstar, and then you know, like when you're at that level, everyone knows your songs, you know, so it's like easier. But if you're like up and coming, you're just coming here, like it's kind of like tough because we don't really have a big like a large scale of people that are into like up and coming underground music and like the low key things, you know, like that's just the city, I feel like. But yeah.
So how did you think that you had to kind of find your fit like within a place like this? Because I feel like especially when you're coming from like Ontario, you know what it is there, like people get it there, but Vancouver, although I know like we're actually doing like very well, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely a lot better from like 5 years ago to now, for sure.
Yeah,
it's like super lit compared to 5 years ago. Yeah,
no, most definitely. And I know it's like to the thanks of like some people that are actually like, you know, helping, whether it's curate certain events or bringing artists from different places into the city. But I know that there's still like, imagine what it's going to be like in like whether it be 10 years or whatever it might be. So when you, I guess, had come here, did you feel like you had to maybe be a little bit different or like bring something that other people didn't have? Or
like I feel like myself is already different, like, you know, like I already have this, like me being who I am in Vancouver, it makes me stand out, you know, just like from obviously features, like, you know, tall black guy dreads, like, you know, like obviously I'm gonna stand out like anywhere I go, so that's already like an advantage, I felt like. And then it was like the main thing everyone says when I moved here was like, Vancouver doesn't have nightlife, there's nothing to do here, it's like boring going out, clubs are garbage, whatever. That's like generally what I heard from like random people, like just randoms that I'm just trying to figure out what to do in the city, you know. So that was like a common theme that I was like, okay, like that's already something that isn't like, I guess, there that can be improved on, and I thought that was a way where that's something I already love to do. So it was like a challenge almost for myself to kind of do something where people can like look forward to like having a good experience, or say like, oh, maybe this thing's lit in Vancouver or stuff like that. Because well, it's so easy to like hate on a lot of like a lot of things. Like someone's at least trying to like do a good night, you know, like not their fault it's not always lit, like but it's easy to say like, oh, it's not lit, than trying to like change it, you know what I mean? So that was what I realized a lot too. I
like the word, because you use the word in that, particularly the word experience, because I always think about it like the experience, like what experience are you kind of giving to somebody? And I kind of wonder, I guess from looking from the outside in, it's almost like, okay, did you try to approach it from a DJ perspective, or like a, you know, putting together the event or like the night perspective? But I'm wondering, is that where we are now, where the DJs aren't just the ones that are playing the music, but they're also the ones like promoting the night and things like that?
Yeah, I guess depends on where you are in the world, I feel like too. Maybe that's like a North American thing. Maybe I don't know. I haven't really traveled a lot to like see what's going on exactly, but I do feel like some places do expect that. But some DJs like doing that. So if they like promoting, like saying that they're here, then that's probably a win-win for everyone, I feel like. But
and because I feel like in Vancouver, or even just in Canada particularly, we're very entrepreneurial, if that makes sense. Like everybody wants to kind of like start their own brand, or like come up with their own idea, their project, or whatever it might be, which is, I think it's great. But that kind of, I guess that reminds me, or like brings me to cold drinks, how you